Well, our next guest was a poor, shy, non-athletic farm boy, but you will recognize him here as a macho superstar.
Chuck Norris is fighting for everyone who can't fight back. Hold on! Don't step on any toes. I don't step on
Yes, you wouldn't want Chuck Norris to step on your toes or even to act a bit annoyed with you. He's a 6-time world champion in karate. He's a tough guy in the movies, and you don't want to make his day. But it turns out that he wants to help people conquer their fears and insecurities, and he's here to tell us the secret of his own inner strength. Let's have a nice welcome for Chuck Norris! Hi, Chuck. Thank you. Chuck. You know, you're a very successful individual. You are. 6-time world champion, 6 consecutive years in karate. And another interesting statistic, 22 movies you've made. They've all made money. The only other star who ever did that was Elvis Presley, so that alone is good. But there's another thing. You've been married 30 years.
29, yeah, 29. Going on 30, yeah.
Celebrating your 30th anniversary this year, right? And I thought, we spend so much time in this program talking about marital problems and relationships, and not that much talking about karate, that I'd like to begin by asking you, what's the secret of a happy marriage for 30 years, Chuck?
Oh, I think each person giving 70%. You know, my wife's, I credit my wife because she's been so supportive through my career, and I've always worked hard all my life, and she's always been my biggest supporter, and I think communication too. I think you've got to keep a channel of communication going at all times.
There was a point, according to your book, which, by the way, is an interesting book. It's called The Secret of Inner Strength, My Story by Chuck Norris. You candidly admit that there was a point when success came along for you and the marriage was rocky and there was a separation. What got it back?
Well, I just sold my school. I sold my schools to a conglomerate and got a big influx of money for the first time in my life. And, you know, driving a new Cadillac and all this stuff here, and all of a sudden, you know, life looked like it'd be more fun on the free highway. And so I kind of told my wife that I needed some space. So she left me and went all the way to Florida. So she gave me a lot of space.
What did that space feel like?
Well, after about 4 months, I was begging her to come back home, you know. The bachelor
Why?
life. Well, you know, I got married at 18. My wife was 1 month 17 when we got married. And I went right from a mother to a wife, you know, and now here I am trying to wash clothes, and I didn't know which end of the washing machine was up.
Yeah, but I mean, you could have hired a maid.
I know. No, truthfully, I like the relationship. I enjoy the relationship of a companion.
Yeah.
And I've seen experiences with other friends and who have gone from one relationship of a marriage right into another one, and it always looks like they jump from the frying pan into the fire, you know, and I just really love my wife, and I don't think anyone could replace her.
What do you say to somebody who would describe you or put you in the category, and this is not as a negative here, but would describe you or put you in the category as a hunk, you know, as a sexy hunk? What do you think about that?
Well, I don't think I am, you know, because, I mean, I don't have the muscles that Arnold Schwarzenegger or Stallone has, but if they do, they do. I don't see it. I don't know. How can I ask her that? I can't answer that question.
All right. In your book, page 107, you say, I think it's page 107, you say something here I'd like you to elaborate on, because I think if you could do this in life, people would be happier. You say, I consider worry to be wasted energy. In my view, the best thing you can do when faced with a problem is not worry about it, but to get the job done the best way you can. There are moments during that low period when I started feeling depressed, but I always regroup and say to myself, hey, get your act together. Is that true? Mm-hmm. You don't worry about things?
No, because it doesn't do any good. The thing is, let's say you worry about a problem. So here you are worrying and all this stuff. All of a sudden the problem's solved. All that anguish for nothing. You know, the thing is, worry doesn't solve the problem, and it actually hinders the problem. What you've got to do is try to find ways of solving that solution, or that problem, finding a solution for the problem. And if you do, then you don't have time to worry about it.
You're able to live by that.
Well, believe me, you know, from the book, as you know, I've gone through a lot of ups and downs. The people see strictly my success, but they don't know where I came from. A kid who grew up in the back hills of Oklahoma, who was totally non-athletic, and I won the World Karate Championship. And the kid who was extremely shy in school, who had never even done a high school play or a book report, and now I'm doing this. The thing is, you find formulas, you find things that will help you work toward what you want.
As I see it, in your life, it was and still is some disciplines you learned, mental disciplines you learned from karate. Would you agree with that?
That was the beginning of it, yeah. But again, you learn philosophies as you go, from experiences in life. You start learning philosophies and things that will help you work. Like for me, I'm very goal-oriented. I must have a direction for me to get up in the morning. I got to know what it is that I want to do. And it's like when I was a karate fighter. All I wanted to do was win a local karate tournament in LA. But once I won it, I thought, well, how about the state title? So the state title became the next goal. And then when I won that, then it was the national, international, then the world. If I had said I wanted to be the world champion when I first started fighting, it was too far beyond my conception. But I had realistic goals, goals that I felt in my heart I could achieve. The same thing in the movie business. You know, I had no idea I'd be where I am today when I first started. I just wanted to do a movie, anything, just to try to get some experience.
How old are you, 47 now?
Mm-hmm.
At age 47, what is your next immediate goal?
Well, hopefully to get this book going, hoping it's successful, and I got a movie out now called Braddock Missing in Action 3, hoping that it will be successful. Those are my immediate goals.
Just really working on the promotion of those things. I've read someplace that you say at this stage of your life you're stronger and quicker than you were at the time when you were a
when I was
champion,
a fighter.
but you have to work harder at it.
Well, the thing is, my method of training today is more scientific. I train 3 hours a day, 6 days a week. And, but it's more of a scientific method of training than it was, say, 20 years ago. And I can, now I can do the full splits I couldn't even do when I was a fighter. And my kicks are much stronger and faster now.
Can you just take a moment? One of the great movies that people still remember is your movie with Bruce Lee, Return of the Dragon. It had that amazing fight scene.
Yeah, right. Still a classic today.
Still a classic. Just tell us what, just off the top of your head, comes to mind when we talk about that fight scene with you and Bruce Lee.
Well, the whole thing is, Bruce was a tremendous martial artist, and when we did the fight in the Coliseum in Rome, he just said, well, what do you want to do? I said, well, I'll do these techniques, And he said, okay, I'll do those. So it was kind of an ad-lib type of a fight. But I think what made the fight so spectacular wasn't so much just all the karate that we do most of the time in pictures, but it was the interrelationship between he and I,
Bruce,
the looks and the little emotion between he and I as we're fighting that made that move. Because there's been fights that were better technically than the one with Bruce, but it was that mental thing between he and I that made it work. When I knock him down, or he knocks me down, and he goes like, all these little things, right? It was just all these little nuances that made them fight.
Another thing I've always observed about you that I find interesting is you seem to be such an interesting mixture of violence and gentleness. I mean, karate is violent, but every time I've seen you, we've met about 3 or 4 times,
right.
you seem to be a very gentle, mellow guy, centered.
It was like when I was a fighter. I'd be walking down the aisle to the ring, and I'd be shaking hands and, and saying hello to everybody. But once I walked into the ring, my whole demeanor changed, because here's the man across the ring who's going to knock my block off. And so I had to change my attitude. I had to become much more aggressive and almost animalistic. And when I fought him, then after the fight was over, then I'd go back to more of a mild individual. And that's basically the philosophy in my movies. The guy who isn't looking for trouble tries to avoid it, but when he's put into a position that he's got to face it, like we would have to do in real life, then he becomes that person to deal with that situation.
Chuck, I want to thank you. I want to recommend this book. I read a lot of it. It is called The Secret of Inner Strength, My Story. Well-directed, an excellent book for young people, too.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, I think if you got a goal to accomplish, you can find some answers here, particularly for young people who may be like you were when you were 16, 17, 18 years old. Nice to see you again, Chuck.
Thank you, Bill.
Take care and good luck. We'll be back right after this.